Hey guys, I'm Iffy, one of your co-hosts. Thank you so much for tuning into the Get Paid to Live podcast, where we explore how to intentionally design a life where you live first and get paid second. Whether you're an entrepreneur, you work for someone else, or you're just curious about how to create your dream life. In these episodes, you'll find the inspiration, the tips, and the motivation on how you can navigate that process through our honest reflections as new entrepreneurs. We have such a juicy episode today, and I can't wait to dive in. But before we do, we want to take a few minutes to tell you about a new end-to-end recording and podcasting platform that can help you find your dream audience and customers called Riverside. It has such a beginner-friendly interface, and it's super intuitive even from the first time that you go in. This way you can spend less time tinkering with fancy editing softwares and spend more time clarifying your message, what actually matters. It's powered by AI to cut out speech breaks, create clips automatically, and transcribe your videos. So no more manual captions. These are just a few of the many features. Personally, some of my favorites are the high quality recording features, the magic clips, the captioning, and the teleprompter screen that comes up when you're recording. We've used a high quality recording to host 2 international guests virtually, and it was so easy for them to join, set up. All they had to do was press a button and they were brought into the studio at the max quality for their computers and audio. You can even record up to 4K and adjust the audio pre or post production to make it sound like you're in a studio. I love using the chat features, the script, and the teleprompter to stay on top of discussion points. And it's not just for podcasters. If you want to edit long or short form video for Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube Shorts, or even host a live stream, it's got you covered. They have so many fun features to play around with. You can even add in customized branding and animate your captions so they move when you're speaking. And lastly, with the magic clips feature, we're able to make 10 plus pieces of content from one episode in literally just 1 second. I'm not kidding you. Press a button and it creates these different pieces of content for you about the juiciest parts of your episode. So if you're ready to pull the trigger and get your content out there with a frictionless editor and recorder, be sure to use the code IFOMA, which is IFEOMA, to get 15% off your paid plans. And biggest of all, thank you so much to Riverside for sponsoring today's episode. Without further ado, let's get into today's conversation.
Someone kind of used this terminology recently, that entrepreneurship is a contact sport. You know what I mean?
Ooh, what does that mean?
I don't know. But to me, it makes it sound like it's about action, not sitting on the sidelines thinking, not sitting on the sidelines drawing up plays, but actually being in the game and running plays and seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to be out there and trying things.
That's a perfect segue into what we're going to talk about today, which is a wantrepreneur. And what that is, how do you get out of that, and how do you go into becoming a real entrepreneur?
Wow.
And I feel like I didn't even, to your point, we don't really use that term.
Right.
And I think that's not a coincidence, because entrepreneurs don't know that they're entrepreneurs. Like, I think when I discovered the term, I don't remember where I first heard it. I was like, whoa, that's me. And I think you think you're an entrepreneur, which by the way is completely fine. I think you should totally think of yourself as an entrepreneur in the beginning, even if you don't have anything tangible. I think it's more of like a manifestation, fake it till you make it kind of thing. So I think that's good. But there's a point, I think, in the journey when bills need to be paid and you're getting tired and desperate and hungry, that you need to start thinking like a real entrepreneur, and stop messing around with things that don't work. So I want to talk about we want to talk about what that is, so you can kind of identify if that's you or not, and then talk about how to fix it and how to get, make the transition into real entrepreneurship where, you have skin in the game, you are creating results, even if it's small, and you're, hopefully getting an outcome that you wanted, So what is a wantrepreneur? I want to read some of these definitions that I found, because I think it's kind of like
it's not a real word.
It's not a real word, obviously. It's just something people have said, but we all have a common understanding of what it means. So when I looked it up, there's actually like a wantrepreneur syndrome. That's how they're defining it. This is from owner.co. A wantrepreneur is somebody who aspires to be an entrepreneur but never becomes one because they never do anything about it. Which I think that's what most people think of when
they never do anything.
You just never take action. You never do anything serious. It's like it's like all want.
Desire
in your head, thinking, not a lot of doing. Another one that I found from Entrepreneurs Collective, sounds legit.
You like the name?
I like the name. As the name suggests, a wantrepreneur aspires to own their own business and become an entrepreneur. However, these individuals love to talk about their great business idea, but the bragging often doesn't turn into action.
Yeah.
Very similar to the last one. Just a lot of talk, no walk.
Wow.
And then this one was a little spicy.
Hot take.
Hot take. This one is from Good MBA Guide. They said basically, very casual, basically, a wantrepreneur is someone that commits time, money, and resources towards all the aspects of starting a business, except for actually starting the business. For example, this could mean designing a killer website, having a stack of slick business cards printed, and developing a year-long social media marketing strategy, yet without having developed a viable product or service.
Wow.
I actually
That's a bit stronger than the other ones.
It is stronger, and I do think, ironically, the first two definitions and this definition, we're going to hit on both types, because I feel like they're types of wantrepreneurs. Sure. There's the type of wantrepreneur who no action, but they're talking. Every time you get together, they're talking about what they want to do, never does anything about it. And then there's the wantrepreneur they're doing stuff like this, definition I just read.
They're just not making any money.
It's just not making any money. And it's just kind of like the expensive hobby issue. And I feel like...
Yeah. And I feel like it's gray, because I would agree with the first two. Like it's more talk than actual walk.
Right.
It's kind of hard to call someone a wantrepreneur. Like, I feel like if someone is doing, but they just haven't, they're making some money, but they're not making like enough money to call it like a viable business or viable product or service. Like, it's not entirely clear what that means.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of a gray area between wantrepreneur and entrepreneur.
Okay.
I
can see that.
Because, if you're putting in the work, you're doing the reps, you just haven't learned enough yet. Yeah. Like, you're on the journey.
You're headed there, but you're not there yet. And that's... You
just haven't gotten to the place where, you're making more than you made at a full-time job or something.
Well, that's hold on. That's an entrepreneur. That's just kind of like I feel like you're in the starving artist zone, where you're just on the struggle bus a little bit.
Right.
But you're still an entrepreneur. If you're if you're making money, you're just not making enough money. I think you're definitely an entrepreneur, because there's so many entrepreneurs who are not making nearly past their expenses. I think, at least what I'm getting from this definition, is you are kind of doing everything outside of the actual selling.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
so you're like coming up with your name, your
logo,
branding, logo. Yeah.
It's all the stuff. It's not the meat of it.
The product. Or
the product or
like
service.
There's no talk about product or service. It's all the peripheral stuff. Yeah, I could see
like
that as well.
It's like the outside look, like, I have a business, or this thing is going, but it's not generating anything. Also, though, there could be what you're saying, where you also are not making enough, but you're making money, but you're not making enough, like that.
That show we were watching?
That show we were watching, such a...
Side Hustle Sally's.
Side Hustlers. It has Emma Grede and Ashley Graham. They're the hosts of the show. Two successful entrepreneur business women, and they help people who have side hustles.
It's kind of like a Shark Tank, but more hands-on.
Yeah, they
more
like
reality.
They invest in your side hustle, so it can be your full-time thing, right? And there's a couple of them on there who, even though they had businesses and they were making money technically, they had just been in that stretch for a long time.
So like they were doing it for like 7 years, and they were just not like profiting. They were losing money. So I would call them entrepreneurs, but they're obviously stuck. There's something missing, and it's probably not 100 things that are missing. It's probably like one or two very simple things that they have to fix about their business or about their mindset that will allow them to become profitable.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because one of the ladies, one of the hosts, I don't know,
Emma?
I don't know which one, but they're like, they're never gonna be successful. They need to quit right now. I was like, damn.
No, but that's good because sometimes you need to like replace stuff. You need to let it die.
Yeah, and
in
start
a way
over.
and start over
Yeah,
again.
for sure.
I agree. I think those are still entrepreneurs, even if they're stuck.
Yeah.
Those are entrepreneurs. Even if you're not, like making more than or breaking even, still an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But I think
because
you're doing
you're
stuff.
selling stuff.
You're selling things. You're making things happen. If you are still in that, like you have your website's looking great, like I was saying, you have your business cards, you have your pages up, but you're not actually delivering a product or service or selling anything.
Yeah.
I think that's just an expensive hobby.
Yeah, I see that.
So those are just some like. It was interesting to see the definition, but
and then if you have a definition of wantrepreneur,
Yeah.
drop it in the comments below.
very curious because this is obviously just a colloquial term,
Yeah.
Okay, here's one thing I want to mention too. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to be a wantrepreneur. I think it's better than nothing. I just think there's a point where you need to
Make the transition.
Right? Because
You don't want to be a lifelong wantrepreneur.
Yeah, you don't want. That's not the goal. You don't want to just like, I want to be a wantrepreneur. No.